You thought that giving her space would make her realize what she had, that pulling back, going silent, and not chasing would stir something inside her, make her miss you. You believed that the absence of your presence would be enough to create longing. But instead, she seemed unaffected. Days passed and there was no text, no call, not even a sign that she noticed. And now here you are scrolling through your phone, checking her profile, hoping for a signal that she's thinking about you. It's frustrating, even painful. You did what the advice said, you stepped back. But it's not working the way you thought it would. And that's because most people misunderstand silence. It's not just about stopping communication. It's about how you disappear. It's about the energy behind your absence. Silence with the wrong energy feels like waiting. She can feel that. When your silence still screams, "I hope you miss me," it doesn't trigger, repels it. Because there's no power in silence when it's drenched in need. That's why she doesn't react. That's why she's not chasing. What you need to understand is this. Women don't respond to what you say or don't say. They respond to what they feel. And if your absence doesn't shift something emotionally inside her, then you're just another quiet guy she once knew. If you truly want her to feel something, it's not about going ghost. It's about becoming so secure, so self-fulfilled, that your silence feels like strength, not strategy. It's not about playing games. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to be noticed, because that kind of man is the one who naturally draws attention. And once you grasp that, everything begins to change. Predictability is the silent killer of attraction. If she can guess your every move, even in your silence, there's no mystery, only boredom. And that's what most men get wrong. They think by going quiet, they're creating space and tension. But what they're really doing is becoming predictable. She expects you to pull back. She knows your pattern. First you chase. Then when she pulls away, you disappear, hoping she'll come running. But when nothing about your behavior surprises her, your silence loses all its power. She's not curious because there's nothing to be curious about. You're doing exactly what she expected you to do. But the moment you break that pattern, shifts, instead of just withdrawing, you disrupt the rhythm. You stop showing up in the places she expects. You stop posting the usual things. You vanish from where she was used to seeing you and reappear somewhere new, doing something unexpected. Not for attention, but because you've changed your focus. You're not hiding, you're evolving. And that evolution breeds mystery. She starts to wonder, why is he so quiet? What's he doing? Has he moved on? Those thoughts only come when there's a break in the script. Unpredictability forces her mind to fill in the blanks. That's when she begins to think about you, again, not out of comfort, but out of curiosity. This isn't about playing games or pretending. It's about living in a way that keeps her guessing, because your energy no longer revolves around her. When you start to act in ways that don't match her expectations, she pays attention. And that attention, that's the seed of renewed attraction. You don't need to beg for it. You just need to become unpredictable enough that she can't ignore you anymore. This is the part most men overlook, the quiet work, the transformation behind the scenes. While you're silent, while you're not reaching out, the real question is, what are you doing with that time? Because if you're just sitting around thinking about her, replaying old memories and hoping she misses you, then nothing's actually changing. You're the same man she walked away from. And if you're the same, there's nothing new to miss. No emotional gap, no curiosity. Just stillness with no substance. But when you use that silence to evolve, everything changes. This is where you build. It's not to prove something to her, but to become something for yourself. You hit the gym not for revenge, but for power. You pick up a new skill not to impress, but to grow. You start waking up earlier, pushing harder, locking in on your mission, not because you're trying to get her back, but because you've remembered who the hell you are. When you truly start leveling up, she will feel it. Maybe not immediately, but the shift becomes undeniable. Energy doesn't need a message, it travels. She'll hear about you through mutual friends. She looking different, sharper, more focused. And she started asking questions she wasn't asking before. What changed? Why does he look so calm? Who is he becoming? That's when the seed of doubt is planted in her mind. Maybe she misjudged you, that maybe she left too soon. But by then, You're already too deep into your own growth to care. That's the magic. You don't evolve to get her attention. You evolve to become the kind of man who naturally gets noticed because he doesn't need to be. That's real power. That's how silence becomes transformation. In the beginning, she won't feel your absence. That's the part no one tells you. She might even feel a sense of relief, thinking she's free from emotional weight, from expectation, from having to explain herself. That's why silence doesn't create immediate impact. It builds its power over time. You're not lighting a firework. You're planting a seed, and that seed needs time to grow roots. At first, the quiet is just quiet, but then something shifts. Not because you reached out, but because you didn't. Not because you posted something to get her attention, but because you were busy becoming someone better. Time starts playing tricks. She hears a song that reminds her of a moment with you. She passes a place where you used to go. Someone mentions your name. And suddenly that silence starts echoing. But what truly gets her isn't the memory, it's who you've become in her absence. Maybe she sees a post, hears from a friend, or catches a glimpse of you looking confident, energized, and unfazed. That's when the echo becomes a void. Not just because you're gone, but because you're different. You're not the same man she thought she left behind. The emotional rhythm she once relied on is gone. She's no longer receiving the attention she used to. And the new version of you, calm, focused, untouchable, hits her in a way your words never could. That's when she begins to wonder, what if I was wrong? That's when she starts missing you. Not because you disappeared, but because you grew. In your absence, you became the man she didn't expect. And now, without saying a word, you're taking up more space in her mind than ever before. That's how silence becomes presence. That's how the void is felt. There will come a moment when she reaches out. Maybe it's a simple, hey, how have you been? Or a reaction to something you post. Maybe she doesn't say anything at first. But you start noticing she's watching your stories, liking your posts, asking mutual friends about you. This is the moment most men have been waiting for, but it's also the moment most of them ruin. They get excited, emotional, and respond too quickly, too eagerly, and just like that, the power they've built during their silence evaporates. She realizes he was just waiting for her all along, and the chase ends before it ever begins. If she reaches out, you don't ignore her, but you don't give her everything either. You keep it calm, light, and composed. You show her through your tone, your energy, and your words that you're good with or without her. If she asks what you've been up to, don't pour your heart out. Say something intriguing. Just been working on some exciting things lately? Let that hang. Let her wonder. The more questions she has, the more curiosity grows. And curiosity is the seed of attraction. The real shift happens when she realizes you're not waiting anymore, that you're no longer orbiting her emotionally. You're centered, grounded, focused. And when she feels that, you become magnetic. If you talk again, let her feel that calm confidence. Don't bring up the past. Let her do that. Don't talk about feelings. Let your energy speak for itself. Because the man who went silent and actually grew during that time, he's not trying to prove anything. He's not chasing. He's choosing. And by the time she sees the man you've become, the real question becomes, do you even want her back anymore? That's when the power truly shifts.